Namo Sakya Muni Buddha. Dear Venerable Sangha, Buddhist ladies and gentlemen, you are invited to join us in this weekly Buddhist Newsreel on Phật sự online channel. Hereafter, 7 major headlines of Buddhist activities of the week. Council of Patrons Standing Board had its first meeting of its 9th tenure. Ho Chi Minh City, training course with knowledge in conservation of Buddhist culture values inaugurated. Con Tum, Foreign Affairs Delegation visits Most Venerable Thích Quảng Xả. Ho Chi Minh City, ascetic training course opened for ashrams in 2023. Ho Chi Minh City, Minh Đạo Pagoda organizes blood donation fiesta after Tet holidays. Thừa Thiên Huế, meeting to prepare the decision announcement and the personnel introduction of Sano Dharma evangelism section. Ho Chi Minh City, Indian Trooper Sangha conducts first sermon with over 1,000 Buddhists at QUANG Monastery. The following are the news in details. After the 9th National Buddhist Delegate Congress, on the morning of February 15, 2023, the Standing Board of the Council of Patrons for the 9th term 2022-2027 held the first meeting to discuss important contents, chaired by the Elder Most Venerable Thích Quảng, Dharma Master of Vietnam Buddhist Sangha at Vĩnh Nghiêm Patriarchal Temple.
In his opening speech, the Dharma Master emphasized the meaning and purpose of this first meeting. Accordingly, the meeting was also an opportunity for the venerable dignitaries to discuss and approve the operating regulations of the Vietnam Buddhist Sangha's Council of Patrons. On this occasion, the Dharma Master also proposed a decision to establish the monitor section, consisting of 9 members, led by Most Venerable Thích Nghiệp, Vice Dharma Master, Vietnam Buddhist Sangha, to head the Council of Patrons. The meeting time of the Standing Committee of the Vietnam Buddhist Sangha's Council of Patrons is set on November 11 of the lunar calendar every year at Vietnam National Pagoda, on the occasion of commemoration of the death anniversary of the first Dharma prelate of the Vietnam Buddhist Sangha and the monastic elders and members of the Vietnam Buddhist Sangha who had passed away. At the meeting, the Venerables also discussed the organization of the Great Ordination Sema to refix the shortcomings and many other important contents, such as announcing the personnel and activities of the Office of Council of Patrons, announcing the Secretariat of the Dharma Master's Office, announcing the funding for Council of Patrons, nominating the delegation to attend the Most Venerable Li Sheng's cremation ceremony, demonstrating the Dharma bathing ceremony on April 8th of the lunar calendar at the central headquarters of the Vietnam Buddhist Sangha, Quang Sư Pagoda, Hanoi, and the Great Buddhist Vesak on the 15th day of the 4th lunar month in the Vietnam National Pagoda, Ho Chi Minh City. Speaking at the meeting, Most Venerable TIòng NGAY, Chairman of the Administrative Council, Vietnam Buddhist Sangha, approved the decisions of the Standing Committee of the Council of Patrons. The Most Venerable sincerely requested the Dharma Master and the Venerable Elders to contribute their experience and wisdom into the teachings and advices for the Administrative Council, Vietnam Buddhist Sangha, and the Central Monastic Affairs Section to perform well in the organization of the Great Ordination Sema in accordance with the Dharma and the monastic rules inherited from the patriarchs. To sum up the meeting, the Dharma Master appreciated the opinions of the Venerables on the key contents of this meeting section. He imparted the inputs and comments to hand over the Secretariat for collected content to submit the Standing Committee of Council of Patrons for review at the next meeting.
On February 11 and 12, 2023, the UNESCO Center for Research on Conservation of Culture, Religions, and Belief in Vietnam in collaboration with Minh Đạo Pagoda, opened a refresher course in knowledge of preserving Buddhist cultural heritage, values at Minh Đạo Pagoda, Ho Chi Minh City, under the testimony of Most Venerable Thích Quảng Xả, Chairman of the Administrative Council, Vietnam Buddhist Sangha.
Experts and professional researchers participating in the training include Dr. Nguyễn Anh, Vietnam UNESCO expert, Master Nguyễn Thị Thu Hoan, Deputy of Vietnam National Museum of History, and nearly 100 students from monastic institutions in Ho Chi Minh City. Speaking at the training course, Mr. Nguyễn Thanh Xuân, director of the center, said, "This training course aims to improve knowledge about Vietnamese cultural heritage, religion, and traditional beliefs for religious institutions, organizations, and Buddhist fellows. Thus, we have joined hands to make efforts to preserve and promote traditional cultural and religious values and beliefs in contemporary life." Previously, the UNESCO Center for Research on Conservation of Culture, Religion and Belief in Vietnam made an active contribution to the survey, Vietnamese Buddhist Architecture, a Unified Entity in Diversity, organized by the Culture section of the Vietnam Buddhist Sangha. The center has a mandate for researching, consulting, as well as coordinating with governance, religious organizations, and scientists to conduct survey, research, training, and to propose solutions on conservation activities, preservation of cultural values and cultural heritage for religious organizations, religious establishments, and traditional beliefs in the whole country, contributing to the protection, preservation, and effective promotion of cultural values of religion and traditional beliefs of the nation.
On the occasion of the field mission in Con Tum Province, on the afternoon of February 9, 2023, the delegation of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, led by Ms. Nguyễn Minh Hằng, Assistant Ministry of Foreign Affairs, visited Huệ Chiếu Pagoda, office of the Con Tum Provincial Buddhist Parochial Board, to consult the health of Most Venerable Thích Quảng Xả, Vice Chairman of the Administrative Council, Vietnam Buddhist Sangha, Vice Head of the Monastery Affairs Section, Head of the Con Tum Provincial Buddhist Parochial Board.
Speaking at the meeting, Ms. Nguyễn Minh Hằng wished the Most Venerable Thích Quảng Xả good health and sent her best wishes for peace, happiness, and fulfillment to all religious leaders, monks and nuns, and Buddhists of the province on the occasion of the Lunar New Year. She also congratulated Most Venerable Thích Quảng Xả on being re-elected as Vice Chairman of the Vietnam Buddhist Sangha Parochial Council for the tenure 2022 to 2027, thereby expressing her high appreciation for the venerable prestige, merit, and responsibility to the Buddhists in Con Tum Province, in particular, and 5 Central Highlands provinces in general. In response, Most Venerable Thích Quảng Xả expressed his deep gratitude to Ms. Nguyễn Minh Hằng and the member of the delegation for taking the time to visit and have good and sincere wishes for the province Buddhism. The Most Venerable affirmed that the Vietnam Buddhist Sangha is always an active member, attached to the government, accompanies the nations, and strictly adheres to the Sharia hierarchical Dhamma nation socialism. Next in the program, the Most Venerable led the delegation to visit Huệ Chiếu Pagoda, where the office of Con Tum Provincial Buddhist Parochial Board is based.
At Vietnam National Pagoda in Ho Chi Minh City, on the morning of February 12, 2023, the Dharma Evangelism Board held a grand opening ceremony for the religious monasteries with the participation of a large number of Buddhists from the ashrams in Ho Chi Minh City.
In his opening remarks, Venerable Thích Thiện Quý sent his best wishes to the venerable monks, nuns, and Buddhists at the beginning of the Lunar New Year, blissful body and mind, with auspicious wishes. The Venerable said, with the witness of the Supreme Most Venerable Thích Quảng, the Dharma Master of the Vietnam Buddhist Sangha, and the steering of the Most Venerable Master of Ho Chi Minh City Buddhist Parochial Board, the Dharma Evangelism Board held a grand opening ceremony for monastic courses. Currently, in the city, there are more than 30 classes, over 100 religious activities, and thousands of Buddhist followers who form an increasing number of ashrams. On this occasion, the Dharma Evangelism Board of Ho Chi Minh City established an information and communication team, which presented itself with a personnel decision for the term 2022 to 2027, including 15 members led by Venerable Thích Quảng Xả, Vice Chairman of the City Dharma Evangelism Board. Next in the program, Most Venerable Thích Nhật Hỷ delivered the first Dharma talk in 2023 with the theme, Spring Happiness of the Buddha's Children. The Most Venerable lectured on the meaning of the auspicious day retreat, so that the Buddhist ashrams could promote the spirit of courage and diligence in practice, and create a peaceful life for their body and mind, to have a peaceful and healthy life.
On the morning of February 14th, 2023, the monks in Minh Đạo Pagoda in Ho Chi Minh City cooperated with the city Humanitarian Blood Donation Center to organize the fiesta, donating blood to save lives, Bodhisattva's wave of life.
At the beginning of the Lunar New Year, the blood reserve is in short supply due to the long holiday period without the blood donors, while the hospitals have to treat patients with traffic accidents. Therefore, humanitarian blood donation is precious to add to the blood bank in time to save patients. Human blood donation is one of the noble gestures bearing human values, saving the lives of patients, showing the spirit of love for the people of the Buddha's children. Accordingly, the blood donation appeal at Minh Đạo Pagoda was positively responded by monks, Buddhists, and local people, donating hundreds of blood units to the Central Institute of Hematology and Blood Transfusion. Every drop of blood given is a medicine dose to save lives, a heart to love, share, and give life to the hospitalized patients. Humanitarian blood donation activities need the cooperation of the whole community, spreading good deeds and giving life hope to the hospitalized patients. It is the journey of caring human love, contributing to making life more meaningful.
On the afternoon of February 14th, 2023, at the office of Thừa Provincial Buddhist Parochial Board, the members held a meeting to prepare the ritual for decision announcement and swearing in of personnel of the Central Dharma Evangelism section of the 9th tenure, 2022-2027.
Attending the meeting were Most Venerable Thích Quảng, Vice Chairman of the Administrative Council, Vietnam Buddhist Sangha, Head of the Buddhist Sky Section, Head of the Provincial Buddhist Parochial Board, Most Venerable Thích Huệ Phước, Permanent Member of the Administrative Council, Vietnam Buddhist Sangha, Vice Head of the Central Dharma Evangelism Board, Vice Head of the Thừa Thiên Huế Provincial Buddhist Parochial Board, and Reverend Honorifics of Provincial Dharma Evangelism Board. With the consent of the Standing Board of the Administrative Council, Vietnam Buddhist Sangha, the Central Dharma Evangelism Board will organize a sworn-in ceremony to grant the decision on personnel of the Central Dharma Evangelism section of the 9th tenure, 2022 to 2027, and at the same time, to launch the subsections of the Central Dharma Evangelism section. The venerable dignitaries came to an agreement to hold the ceremony on the morning of the 25th of February, 2023 at Từ Đàm Pagoda Lecture Hall, Thừa Thiên Huế Province, with about 300 delegates, chaired by Most Venerable Thích Quảng, Vice Chairman of the Administrative Council, Vietnam Buddhist Sangha, Head of the Central Dharma Evangelism Board, in the role of the Head of the Event Organizing Board. At this meeting, the Venerable Honorifics approved the official agenda for the ceremony, and at the same time made a list of 11 subsections to support the organization, along with suggestions and recommendations for this important event to be fulfilled, dignified, and perfectly and successfully satisfied.
With the permission of the Government Committee for Religious Affairs and the Administrative Council, Vietnam Buddhist Sangha, on the morning of February 11, 2023, His Eminent Drukpa Thaksi Rinpoche and the Drukpa lineage Sangha had their first missionary teaching trip from February 11, 2023 until February 18, 2023 at QUANG Monastery, Ho Chi Minh City and Thi Quang Pagoda, Bình Dương Province.
With a spirit of compassion and sympathy for the painful loss of Vietnamese people during the COVID-19 pandemic, especially in Ho Chi Minh City, the largest epidemic center in the country in 2021, during the return trip to Vietnam for the first time, His Eminence Trungpa Thursday Rinpoche conferred the empowerment of Buddha and Namaya to help eradicate calamities, pray for the people of Ho Chi Minh City and the whole country to recover from the epidemic and have a long life towards a happy and peaceful life. On the second day of the ceremony, His Eminence Trungpa Thursday Rinpoche also conferred the empowerment of Zambala to pray for all economic recovery efforts to be successful and develop to benefit the people and societies for a stable and prosperous society. He also presided over the Jagwa ceremony, praying for the souls of the deceased in COVID-19 pandemic, traffic accidents, and natural disaster and floods. In the last 2 days of his Dhamma evangelism trip, His Eminence Trungpa Thursday Rinpoche generated the empowerment, guided medicine Buddha practices, Charismatic practices, Dhamma protection courses to eliminate obstacles, to bless and distribute gifts to the blind at Thiên Quang Pagoda, Bình Dương Province. The Trungpa lineage is ruled by His Holiness The Trungpa lineage is ruled by His Holiness the 12th QUANG Trungpa. Over the year, His Holiness and the Sangha have been closely associated with Vietnam and Vietnamese Buddhism.
Venerable monks and nuns, Buddhist ladies and gentlemen, the last news has signed off this weekly newsreel. Thank you for your attention and following. Goodbye and see you in the next program on PSO TV channel. Namo Sakya Muni Buddha.